Right now, you probably picture the internet as something in the air. Wi-Fi, satellites, signals beamed across the sky. It isn't. Almost everything you do online, every message, every video, every search, travels through cables. Lying on the floor of the ocean, in the cold and the dark, kilometers below the surface. This is the hidden network that holds the modern world together. And the almost forgotten story of how we built it is far stranger than you'd think. Here's the number almost nobody knows. Over 95% of all the data that crosses oceans goes through these cables. Satellites? A tiny fraction. There are over 1 million kilometers of cable down there, enough to wrap around the Earth dozens of times. They connect continents. They carry trillions of dollars every single day. And most of them are no thicker than a garden hose. So how does something that thin carry the entire internet between continents? To understand that, we need to take one apart. Pull a modern cable apart, and you find a surprising amount packed inside. On the outside, layers of steel wire and plastic, armor against anchors, fishing nets, and the crushing pressure of the deep. Strip those away, and at the very center sits the part that does all the work. Not copper, not electricity, glass. A bundle of optical fibers, each one thinner than a human hair. And inside those fibers, your data isn't traveling as a signal you'd recognize. It's traveling as light. Pulses of laser light, flickering on and off billions of times a second, bouncing down a thread of glass thinner than your hair, all the way across an ocean. That's not a metaphor. That is literally how this works. But here's the part that gets left out. We've been doing this for far longer than you'd guess. And the first time, it bordered on madness. The year is 1858. There is no internet, barely any electricity. A message from America to Europe takes 10 days, the time it takes a ship to cross the Atlantic. One man, Cyrus Field, has an idea that everyone tells him is insane. Lay a single cable across the entire Atlantic Ocean. 2,000 miles, across a seafloor no one has ever seen. The first attempt? The cable snaps and vanishes into the deep. The second, it snaps again. Storms nearly sink the ships. Investors call it a fraud. And then, against everything, it works. For the first time in history, a message crosses the ocean not in 10 days, but in minutes. Queen Victoria sends a message to the U.S. president. People light bonfires in the streets. 3 weeks later, the cable goes dead. It would take years, and one of the largest ships ever built to do it again, and make it last. But that fragile, doomed wire in 1858 proved the impossible was possible. Every cable on the ocean floor today is its descendant. Today the principle is the same, it's just bigger. Specialized ships still cross the oceans at walking pace, paying out cable mile after mile, lowering it gently onto the seafloor for weeks at a time. But once it's down there, it's surprisingly fragile. Most cable breaks aren't dramatic. They're ships dropping anchor in the wrong place, fishing trawlers dragging the bottom, undersea landslides, even, occasionally, sharks biting down on the line. When a cable breaks, a repair ship sails out, finds the cable in kilometers of water, hauls both ends to the surface, splices them back together, and lowers it all back down. It happens more often than you'd think, over 100 times a year. You almost never notice because your data simply reroutes through another cable. The network heals around the wound. Which raises a bigger question. Who owns all this? For most of history, it was governments and phone companies. Not anymore. Today, the biggest cables are increasingly owned by the tech giants themselves, the same companies whose services run across them. It means the physical backbone of the internet, the actual wires holding the world together, sits on a seafloor almost no one ever sees, owned by a handful of companies, quietly carrying nearly everything. So the next time someone tells you your data is in the cloud, remember where it really is. Not in the sky, at the bottom of the ocean, in the dark, moving at the speed of light. That's the exploded view. If you want to see what else we've taken apart, there's a whole world waiting, one piece at a time.